Christian Pulisic. 1 year left on his Chelsea deal. Sources telling ESPN that AC Milan have submitted a new bid as of Wednesday for Pulisic. That bid up to 20 million euros. Lyon, out of the French league, have also made an offer to Chelsea for Pulisic. That offer reportedly more than AC Milan's 20 million euros, but not as much as what we first heard, which was right around 25 million euros. ESPN reporting last week that Pulisic prefers Milan over Lyon and that the player and Italian club have already agreed to personal terms. Herc, it may be your last chance to object. The deal seems all but done. Is AC Milan the right move for Christian Pulisic at this point in his career?
Absolutely. It's the right move. Christian Pulisic is the biggest American player there is right now, and Chelsea was as big as it got when he got there. That's not the case for Chelsea anymore today. AC Milan is that team, and Christian Pulisic is that player, and we're talking about a player that's going to go into a situation where he's going to play. Be it an attacking midfielder, is Charles Ketteler, the 22-year-old Belgium's there. He had a whopping 0 goals, 1 assist last season. Christian Pulisic will be an upgrade over him. And on the right-hand side, Salamakers or Junior Macias, he will be an upgrade over those two players as well. He will play with Milan, and this is what you need for Christian Pulisic. This was what Christian Pulisic needs absolutely today. He needs to play. He needs to find joy in his game. He needs to feel important, be important. He can be that at Milan. Pioli desperately wants him. Milan desperately want him. This isn't a club that's going to spend money. Italian football is not just going to spend money to spend money. If they spend money on you, you will go, you will play, you will be a vital piece. This is what he needs. Absolutely the right move.
All right. I'm with you to a point. There is lots to love about this move, specifically the way AC Milan sets up, right? That 4-2-3-1 formation is perfect for Christian Pulisic because it gives him 3 different spots that he can play. And the way that they play it, I think, is also important to note. It's a very aggressive press. They try to win the ball back as soon as they lose it. Well, he's not playing over Leao, but if Leao gets injured, he can slot in there, right? It's another fit. There are other formations where maybe there's only one obvious role for Christian Pulisic or 2. I think here there's 3, and that's great. And so is the way that it's deployed, right? It's an aggressive press. It's going to lead to turnovers. And Christian Pulisic is at his best in transition, in turnover games. So I think that's where you're going to see him really succeed, Herc. But when you say absolutely, and you say he's going to play, is that the measure for success here, or is the measure for success that he's going to start and he's going to start every week? Because at that point, I don't know if I give this a 10 out of 10. I think there were other clubs where I would feel much more confident about Christian Pulisic being a walk-in starter. I know you mentioned the guys that are there. Apparently, they've also made a bid for Samuel Chukwueze. If he goes, he probably takes that other wide spot. So that leaves Christian Pulisic just that one obvious fit in the lineup, Herc. You say absolutely, but I don't want Christian Pulisic to play at AC Milan. I want him to start. Am I asking too much?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. I just told you this.
So you say
Milan's
10 out of 10. You're confident he will start
for him to come off the bench. Yes, I'm confident he will start. I'm confident he will start over Salamakers, over Junior Macias. I'm confident he will start over Ketteler. Do you not think he's an upgrade over Ketteler? Do you not think that's an upgrade, Christian Pulisic there? And could you imagine Rafael Leao on one end and Christian Pulisic on the other running at you? Listen, I think this is a great move for Christian Pulisic as far as playing time. There are other factors we can get into, and we will get into, but as far as playing time, I see him being an out-and-out starter here. A big piece of Pioli's system, a big piece of what Milan want to do in a team that will fight for trophies. Yes, this is a great move.
All right. As long as we're not going to have a repeat of the last few years at Chelsea, where every week we were complaining about his playing time. To your earlier point, let's judge his move from a career perspective. Do you feel like this is a step forward, Chelsea to AC Milan, or a step back?
I feel it's a step forward. And the reason it's a step forward is many argue, well, Serie A isn't the Premier League, and I understand that, but it's also not Chelsea, which was a dumpster fire. Chelsea was a situation you just mentioned for the last 2 years. He wasn't guaranteed any time. He would make the bench and not play when healthy. And that messed with them. That really got to him and his psyche and overall playing ability on the field. So oftentimes, in a matter of coach, we could see him deployed as a right wingback, a false 9. We saw him in situations where it wasn't conducive to his style. Now, in Milan, he's found a club that's a massive club. So You go from a Chelsea, which is a massive club, to a Milan, which is a massive club. That's a win. You're still at a massive club. And you're going to be fighting for trophies in Serie A and also in the Champions League. What other teams could he have gone to realistically that giving you that opportunity to fight for trophies domestically in a big league with a big club and be in Champions League? Because the teams we were hearing was Lyon. And Lyon, with all due respect to John Textor, the owner there who really liked Christian Pulisic, isn't that team, not that type of club. He wasn't going to be fighting for important things. So this is a win any way you slice it. And yes, I will say a step up for him.
Yeah, that's the key, right? We don't know what the other options were. You can absolutely make the case from a week-to-week standpoint. The Premier League is a better league than Serie A. I think you can also point to the transfer fee, right? He went for big money to Chelsea, and we see, and of course you have the context, there's only 1 year left in that contract, but we see teams not really, shuffling over that big money for Christian Pulisic. Maybe you could say that's a concern, but I think you sometimes in your career, you have to take a step backwards to take 2 steps forward. And I think that's clearly what Christian Pulisic is doing here. The one concern here, though, Herc, is that it is
Italian football.
It is, well, I think if we talk in terms of the status of the club, and of course, I'm not going to argue with you. Chelsea is a disaster right now.
It's Milan.
Okay. You're leaning a lot on history.
I think you're being a little unfair on Italian football right now.
You think Serie A is ahead of the Premier League?
No, I think Milan's ahead of Chelsea right now.
Yeah.
Your question was
it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue. It's Champions League. Hey, but that might not be the case for another 5-10 years, right? I think we do have to say, if you would have thought things went well at Chelsea, the next move would not be AC Milan. It would have been a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, whatever you want, but it would have been something different. And I do think, Herc, this has got to be last chance saloon for him at a big club, right? Dortmund, he never really locked down a starting spot before he got the move. Chelsea, 4 different managers never locked down a starting spot. If he doesn't lock down a spot here at a place where it seems like they really, really want him, then that's it, right? At that point, there's no more big clubs coming in.
You're right, and that's a very fair comment. Unlike your dig at Italian football, that's a fair comment, Seb.
Not a dig at Italian football. Not a dig at Italian football by any means.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.